Right now, your organs are running on whatever you last ate. Every cell in your liver, your heart, your brain, your gut is operating on glucose derived from your last meal. Take that away for 36 hours, and something happens that no annual blood panel captures. Something that unfolds organ by organ, in a precise sequence, triggered by a single signal from your pancreas in the first hour. Most people who try extended fasting describe the experience in terms of hunger and willpower. The science describes something completely different, a cascade of biological events that most of your organs have been waiting to run, events that only become possible when food is absent long enough. In the next few minutes, you are going to see exactly what happens inside each organ, hour by hour, across a full 36-hour fast, including what happens at hour 24 that took decades of research to understand, and what the territory beyond hour 30 looks like for a body that has never been there before. Subscribe now so you do not miss the next video, which covers what happens at the 72-hour mark and why it is categorically different from anything in this timeline. Think of your body as a city that runs 24 hours a day. Each organ is a district with a specific function. The liver is the central power station. It stores and distributes fuel to every other district. The pancreas is the traffic controller. It reads glucose levels in the bloodstream and adjusts the signals accordingly. The heart is the infrastructure core, the electrical grid that never stops running. The brain is the command center. It has the highest and most constant energy demands of any district in the city. When food arrives, the city runs on delivered fuel. Every district gets what it needs from the supply coming in. During 36 hours of fasting, the city goes through a controlled blackout. The external supply stops, and what happens next reveals which districts can generate their own power and which ones actually run better when they are forced to. Hours 0 to 4, the pancreas sends the first signal. The moment your last meal finishes digesting, glucose in the bloodstream begins to drop. The pancreas detects this. Alpha cells in the islets of Langerhans release glucagon, the hormone that tells the liver to start releasing its stored fuel. According to stat pearls from the National Center for Biotechnology Information, the most immediate organ affected by a fast is the pancreas. It responds within hours, adjusting glucagon output upward and beginning to reduce insulin production. The liver hears the signal and starts converting stored glycogen into glucose. You feel almost nothing during this window. Blood glucose stays stable because the liver is compensating. The city is running on reserves, not incoming supply. Nobody in the command center has noticed yet. Hours 4 to 12, the liver takes over completely. The liver holds approximately 100 to 120 grams of glycogen. Muscle tissue stores an additional 400 to 500 grams, but muscle glycogen stays local. It cannot be exported to fuel other organs. Only the liver's glycogen can be broken down and sent out to maintain blood glucose for the rest of the body. During this window, the liver is working actively. Gluconeogenesis begins. The liver starts manufacturing new glucose from non-carbohydrate sources, primarily amino acids and glycerol from fat breakdown. Insulin continues to fall, and as insulin falls, AMPK, the cellular energy sensor, begins to rise. AMPK rising is the signal that changes everything downstream, but at this stage, it is still early. The city is drawing down reserves efficiently. The districts are stable. The shift has not happened yet. Here is what no fasting guide shows you about this window. The hunger you feel between hours 6 and 12 is not your body running low on energy. Your blood glucose is being actively maintained. The hunger is a hormonal pattern. Ghrelin peaks in waves that align with your normal meal times. If you usually eat lunch at noon, you will feel a strong wave of hunger at noon even on a fast, and it will fade within an hour without you eating anything. The body is running a schedule, not an emergency. Hours 12 to 18, the metabolic switch begins. This is the window that Anton and colleagues described in a landmark paper published in the journal Obesity in 2018 as the metabolic switch, the point at which the body shifts from glucose as its primary fuel to fat-derived ketones. The liver's glycogen stores begin running seriously low. As they deplete, the liver does something remarkable. It pivots. Instead of converting glycogen to glucose, it begins converting fatty acids into ketone bodies, specifically beta-hydroxybutyrate and acetoacetate. These ketones can fuel the brain, the heart, and most other tissues without requiring insulin. The metabolic switch typically occurs somewhere between 12 and 36 hours, depending on prior carbohydrate intake, activity level, and metabolic history. For most people eating a standard diet, the switch happens somewhere in the range of 12 to 18 hours. And something changes in the gut during this window too. The gut, which under normal conditions is one of the most metabolically active organs in the body, begins to rest. Digestive process is slow. Blood flow to the gut reduces. And the gut's own immune tissue, the largest reservoir of immune cells in the body, begins shifting toward a regenerative state. Hours 18 to 24, the brain discovers a new fuel. This is the window most people never reach with a standard 16 to 8 protocol, and it is where the biology changes most dramatically for the command center. Ketones cross the blood-brain barrier. The brain, which under normal conditions runs almost exclusively on glucose, begins accepting ketones as an alternative fuel source, and the response is measurable. Brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, begins to rise. BDNF is a protein that supports neuronal health, synaptic plasticity, and resistance to oxidative stress. Research consistently links BDNF elevation to improved cognitive function, mood stability, and neuroprotection. Fasting is one of the most reliable non-pharmacological ways to increase it. Liver glycogen is now depleted for most people. Somewhere between 18 and 24 hours, the tank runs dry. From this point forward, the liver is manufacturing all the glucose the body needs from scratch, while simultaneously producing ketones to fuel organs that can use them directly. The city is no longer drawing down reserves. It has switched to renewable energy. Hours 24 to 30, the most dramatic window. Something happens at the 24-hour mark that researchers spent decades trying to understand. Human growth hormone surges. Multiple studies confirm that extended fasting increases growth hormone levels by 300 to 500% above baseline values. The mechanism involves the combined effect of dropping insulin, which normally suppresses growth hormone, and direct stimulation of the pituitary gland by fasting signals. Growth hormone during fasting is protective. It signals the body to preferentially oxidize fat rather than catabolize muscle. It is an evolutionary adaptation. During periods without food, the body needs to preserve functional tissue while drawing down fat reserves. Growth hormone is the mechanism that makes this possible. And the heart changes during this window. The heart is one of the most metabolically flexible organs in the body. Under normal conditions, it burns a mixture of glucose, fatty acids, and lactate. As ketone levels rise, the heart shifts toward beta-hydroxybutyrate as its preferred fuel. Research published in Frontiers in Endocrinology showed that in animal models, fasting activated autophagy and reversed early cardiomyopathy, and that beta-hydroxybutyrate protected cardiac tissue against fasting-induced stress. The heart district of the city has found a cleaner, more efficient power source. In the brain, something else is happening simultaneously. A study by Alirezaei and colleagues published in the journal Autophagy in 2010 found that short-term fasting, including at the 24-hour mark, induces profound neuronal autophagy. The neurons begin cleaning themselves. Damaged proteins, dysfunctional mitochondria, accumulated cellular debris, the cleanup process that requires the absence of mTOR signaling runs at full capacity in the neurons during this window. Insulin is now below 2 to 3 units per milliliter in most people. mTOR is suppressed. AMPK is fully elevated. Every condition for maximum autophagy across every organ is in place simultaneously. Hours 30 to 36, the territory most people never reach. Ketosis is now deep. The body can derive up to 85% of its energy from ketones at this stage. The hunger that dominated hours 6 through 14 has largely disappeared. Ketones suppress ghrelin, and stable gluconeogenesis prevents the blood sugar drops that trigger acute hunger signals. Every district in the city has adapted. The liver is running gluconeogenesis and ketogenesis simultaneously, manufacturing fuel from stored fat and recycled amino acids. The heart is running efficiently on beta-hydroxybutyrate. The brain has BDNF elevated and neurons undergoing autophagy. The gut is in a state of regenerative rest. The immune system, which operates partially out of gut tissue, is shifting resources toward repair rather than defense. Research published in the European Journal of Nutrition found that fasting improves lipoprotein levels and shifts lipoprotein subclasses toward a less atherogenic profile. The cardiovascular district is actively cleaning its own pipelines during this window. At 36 hours, every organ in the body is doing something it cannot do during normal fed cycles, not because it is starving, because the absence of food removed the signal that keeps every organ in production mode, and the repair mode that runs underneath it finally has the resources to operate. Before the protocol, 36-hour fasting is extended fasting. It is not appropriate as a starting point for people new to fasting. If you have diabetes, kidney disease, a history of disordered eating, cardiovascular conditions, are pregnant or breastfeeding, or take ongoing medication, speak with your doctor before attempting this protocol. Electrolyte management during extended fasting is critical. Sodium, potassium, and magnesium all need to be maintained. This content covers biological mechanisms and is not a treatment protocol for any specific condition. The practical framework for a 36-hour fast is simpler than it sounds. Finish your last meal before 6 in the evening on day 1. Eat nothing after that. Sleep. Spend all of day 2 on water, electrolytes, and black coffee or plain tea only, nothing with amino acids or calories. Sleep again. Break the fast on the morning of day 3 with protein first, not carbohydrate. That structure means most of the difficult hours fall during sleep. The waking hours on day 2 are the challenge, hours 12 through 24, after which the hunger typically stabilizes and the cognitive effects of ketosis begin to emerge. The city does not run better with less power. It runs differently, and in that difference, every district finds a repair cycle that the constant flow of incoming fuel never allows to run. If this changed how you think about what fasting actually does inside your body, subscribe and leave a like. Tell me in the comments, have you ever fasted longer than 24 hours, and what did you notice around hour 30 that you did not expect? Next video, what happens to your body at 72 hours of fasting, and why the biology at that mark is categorically different from anything in this timeline.